2.5 minutes were silent, and I relied heavily on the experience of the main character and also his body language to tell the story for me, or to take in the story with. The film was like a maze itself. I was piecing it together along with him. I wasn't expecting the twist. So there were a lot of layers here, including the sound design. There are a lot of interesting layers to listen to as well. Owls hooting, children laughing, crying, the wind blowing, chimes I think I heard at one point, and I have to appreciate it for all of its layers. I can't even say duality because there was so many things going on at once, but I felt, that anxiety, like I was trapped in the maze and I was experiencing these things. And I do appreciate this one for its mystery and the way that it did play with my mind and keep me guessing. And yeah, this one played tricks on me for sure.
I loved the use of silence in this piece. I think that is a great device of storytelling to invite us into his journey and his mental life and where his blocks are, and actually going through the progress of unlocking his past and what's I guess tormenting him. Yeah, and I thought that the silence just showed a very confident filmmaker who is comfortable in letting us sit in that silence and to take that journey, and that therapy in itself requires that, just sitting and acknowledging it. And yeah, really cool storytelling device and really well executed. Very much appreciated it.
I enjoyed the consistency of the energy, the feeling from this one scene to the next as he moves along. You get this sort of sense of immediacy. It just really kept me engaged, and yeah, I just kind of wanted to know what would happen next.
I really liked how, like, the use of flashes in this film. I think they worked really well to give us a backstory while also like addressing what's happening in the present and how that makes the main character feel when he thinks of this stuff. So it's like we're getting our own like personal invitation into like his head and what he's thinking about and what he's seeing. And we want to know more about the two relationships. This woman that he's clearly like trying to get in contact with. We want to learn more about who they are to each other. And the story didn't have a lot of dialogue, but there was still such a powerful message all through it. Like, we still learned so much, even with very little dialogue, and I really like that about it. And there's so much intensity in both of the actors, and I think they did a really great job showing that and just, like, becoming these characters and making them come to life. So, yeah, for that, I really enjoyed this film.
The different kind of flashes to memory that he had while in this dream state, oh god, that was so interesting. Because the kind of colors that they were working with most of the time in the dream world were kind of darker or all one kind of tone, and then you flash to these memories and there's like vibrant colors, and you can just kind of see the difference in how it was shot and how it was edited, which I really liked, because when you're dealing with a dream type world, but then also you're throwing in memories which aren't current, and then you also have a real world and it's all the same character, it can easily get confusing and it can be harder to keep track of what is what. But they did a really good job of making it clear what parts belonged with what, like what parts belonged with the dream state, what parts were in fact memories, and then what was the real world that he was actually like sitting in the chair experiencing. Like I said, doing like mind warp stuff isn't always easy for that reason. A lot of things can get confusing, but this did a really good job of separating it all out and kind of taking you through his whole process of discovering this truth, or uncovering what he did. And I really, really enjoyed it.
Performance of Tommy by Rayan, Cedric, Haddad, and the other was the entire editorial team, who made possible the very useful style of transitory effect, as we would go from memory to memory, or what we think, whatever it is that's driving Tommy's inner conflict. While we're watching it, we're not sure if these are memories or his own imagination, but I particularly liked that shot of him gripping the armchair. That instantly told us that we're dealing with multiple timelines or memories and flashbacks working together, just as Tommy is also working together to unravel his inner demon, which is remembering the girl whose heart he broke. Very strong use of, I love the use of ribbons as the transitory device, and I love the use of her jewelry as not only a transitory device, but as a motivational visual aid, for lack of a better term. I thought that makes sure that the labyrinthine settings and the effective use of shadows also really help to make the viewer feel as displaced and unsettled as Tommy, as he explores and gets lost in his own imagination.
I thought the locations were perfectly chosen for this piece, and the interiors were well appointed and also just perfectly suited for this. The lighting added so much richness to the film, strong sound choices. The acting was lovely throughout, full of emotion and depth. The main character's journey was believable, and you really felt his sense of kind of lost in time. And I loved the subtle use of images and sound to carry him back for his flashbacks, which were well orchestrated and edited beautifully. But for the imagery with just the simplicity of the ribbon or the sound of the bells that carried him back and forth through time, I just thought the filmmaker did a really nice job on this, and I enjoyed this piece.
Film with a very cool concept behind it that is about going through and dealing with trauma, and the way that's contextualized and visualized through the narrative is really creatively done, because we have often these scenes or short films about being in therapy and stuff, and we see these conversations, and especially when it comes to something like hypnotism, we normally just get the external, but it was such a good idea to go internal with this concept and really get inside the mind of the protagonist and visualize that in a way that is not only engrossing, but also truly substantive in relation to the issues that he has going on, these ghosts from his past, right? These guilts, regrets, and demons that have to be dealt with for him to be able to move forward. Ultimately, the piece is very optimistic, but it really does show the struggle that comes with handling these things and taking them on, head first. So it's really an accomplishment in its complexity and its courage to tackle issues surrounding mental health in such a unique and distinctive way.